Okay, so to start, a question asked about the permissibility. Sheikh, I would like to know about the permissibility of changing pitch in a mud. Many tajweed teachers say that it's not correct to do so, so I'm a bit confused when it is okay and when it is not. If there's not sufficient time to discuss that here, can I post in the Telegram group? Yeah, okay. Some of you might have heard that. Some people say that. Honestly, I have I mean, I was gonna say I studied tajweed for like this many years, but I don't know. That's not really like a thing. But alhamdulillah, like I've studied tajweed from multiple teachers, like ijazah in riwayat Hafs and also ijazat in ashara qira'at. Okay, from Sheikh Uthman. So I'm just putting that there, this is not just a hobby for me. Like I'm kind of like I enjoy maqamat. That has never ever come up in tajweed, meaning it's not a topic in tajweed, like going up and down in pitch. Okay, I've seen some people say that, and it's honestly like one of the most bizarre things to me because the argument that some people say is that when you go up and down in a med, for example, if you say ulaika, you're somehow adding like extra hamazat into it, which makes it like ulaika, which is bizarre because like you can clearly tell the difference between ula versus ulaika. Okay, so that's one thing. It's just like the one of the most bizarre things that I've come across when it comes to maqamat, and personally, I don't know where it comes from, right? Uh, and so that's one thing. That's one thing. I don't know where it comes from because it's never come up when I've studied tajweed, right? Someone recently like messaged me, emailed me, and tried to tell me that Ibn al-Jazari says that in Muqaddimatul Jazariya. And it puzzled me because I was like, I'm always this whole topic of maqamat and what's permissible, what's not permissible and stuff. It always interests me because like honest to God, I want to be doing something that's correct, right? I don't want to spend my whole life doing something that's like doesn't make sense or not correct or something. So I'm always kind of constantly investigating this. Even before I started reciting tune, like I spent a lot of time sort of myself being comfortable with it enough to the point that like I could do this publicly, right? Not just like keep it to myself and just like have fun with recitation. Uh, so I've been so anyway. So after this guy emailed me this thing, I actually went through line by line and read Jazariya again, and I was like, okay, I studied this before, and sometimes you study something, but maybe you don't pay attention to everything. You just kind of you pass the exam. So I went through it like over and over, line by line, trying to see where in this in Muqaddimah al-Jazariya is this guy saying that it says that, and I couldn't find it anywhere. Okay, so that's one thing. Anyways, the actual argument doesn't make sense because ula is obviously you're adding hamazat. The other one you're not adding hamazat. Okay, so that's one way of thinking about it. The other way of thinking about it is looking at how reciters do it, right? Uh, so when this guy, this I told you, this brother emailed me this same thing. I went online and you can find just type Sheikh al-Husari, for example, right? And everyone agrees Sheikh al-Husari is Sheikh al-Husari. If you go type Sheikh al-Husari and you listen to any of his recitations, you'll hear he does that as well. He goes up and down in the pitch. Then I pulled up Sheikh al-Masarawi. Do you guys know who Sheikh al-Masarawi is? He's like the head of reciters in Egypt, Al-Azhar. Okay, so he's like a big deal in tajweed and like qira'at, right? Like he's written. If you get masahif, I don't have it here with me, but if you get masahif, if you buy a mushaf of ashara qira'at, right? There's one that has 14 qira'at. So the ashara qira'at that are mutawatir, and then like additional qira'at that are not, and that's like authored, edited. What's the right word? Not authored. Obviously, it's almost published, whatever you call it, like prepared by. It's the research work from Sheikh al-Masarawi. Anyway, so I sent him an example of Sheikh al-Masarawi also reciting and doing that, going up and down in pitch. The guy replied to me, and he's like, "Yeah, they're not reciting with tajweed." And that's where I was just like, "Okay, whatever. Discussion is done. I'm not really going to discuss this with you because uh, the idea. If you start with the idea, sorry, if this is not relevant to most of you, sorry about that, but I get a little bit worked up about this kind of thing because uh, like people have. It's okay for people to have opinions. It's okay for someone to say some reciters take it too far, or some reciters are doing too much with their voice and it seems kind of unnecessary. I understand that. Those are very reasonable things to say because there are reciters that kind of go to extremes and stuff like that. How much is too much? Those are all topics that we can talk about in maqamat, or. But when you say something like this, it doesn't actually make sense. Like, just want to give you the example of like ulaika, and you actually add hamazat, you'll hear that there's hamazat being added, right? Uh, Hopefully, I don't recite that way. Anyway, so when I showed him these clips of like Sheikh Al Husari and Sheikh Al Masrawi, he's like, yeah, they're not reciting with tajweed. And I was like, okay, that's just like that's got to be the most bizarre thing, right? You're like, once you get to the point where you say you're adding extra hamazat and alifs or whatever into the reading, then like that's a serious claim, right? Now, if you go and you listen to Sheikh Sudais and he does it at the Haram, Sheikh Bandar Balina, Sheikh Yasser al-Dosari, like, so the Imams at the Haram and Mecca are doing it. You go to the Imams at Medina, they're doing the same thing. You go to the Qurra of Egypt, even like the Sheikh Husari, Sheikh Masrawi, they're doing that as well. And you go around the Muslim world and everyone's reciting this way, then like, like by itself, you don't appeal to authority and say, oh, this guy's reciting like this, therefore it's fine. But if collectively everyone's reciting like that and nobody has a problem with these recitations, right? Meaning like going up and down and thing in the med. And then someone says, wait a sec, they're adding extra hamzas into the recitation. Do you guys see how that's a little bit bizarre? You're basically saying that all of these people, whether it's Sheikh Sudais or Sheikh Bandar Balila, the Imams of Haramain, Mecca and Medina, the Imams, basically like everywhere, everyone's reading Quran wrong, right? To me, that's kind of bizarre, especially when it doesn't even line up with like the actual word, like ulaika versus ulaika alladina, right? And you can hear clearly that if the word is ulaika. You see what I mean?